Good morning everyone. Today is the 9th of March 2026. Welcome to Authentic Ingenuity Entrepreneur. My name is Minna Crichton and today I'm going to do the usual. To start off with an introduction and what's on my heart, and then I will just go over some of my court cases at the end of it. I'll try not to make this video clip too long, but it is a real life criminal case. As for those who've been following me, my cases have been going over almost 10 years. 10 years will be this year. I'm currently still contesting it at this point in time. And I'm a trafficking in persons case. So if you don't know what trafficking in persons is, it's a case where a person or a victim is trapped and other people are controlling and manipulating their free will or their set of circumstances, meaning they can't go forward. The interference is personal, is immediate, it's very serious, very dangerous, and it's also has a penalty of 20 years, and I can understand why, because it is another form of a conspiracy. Well, it is a conspiracy because I'm being secretly animated or inanimate secretly over the years, but now I can actually prove it together. From the criminal perspective, there's sufficient evidence to prove that the serious violent offences after the fact by those in government public office at that point in time. I have actually exhausted the system. There's been a total of over 19 judges who has had anything to do with my court case, so I have actually exhausted the system. But however, this is the new age system. So we're dealing with internal corruption, where a victim has been used like an app or like a product to promote others. It's inhumane, it's dehumanizing of a human being, and that's exactly what I've gone through. They turn your life upside down, dig out everything to use against myself. But now I can actually prove in solid evidence of how it works and who are actually the people behind it. So it is a real life court cases. The judgments you see is real life. I've made the decision to publicly expose that. So yes, it is a dangerous situation I'm going through, but I just believe this is the only way I can get myself out of it properly and get proper intervention. If I don't, the isolation, the exilement by the public and those behind the controlling and manipulating, their intention is to murder. And I've basically, that is what I have been at risk for a very long time. So I'm dealing with mens rea and actus reus. So a criminal case is not a civil case. It's 100% a criminal case has established against the body corporates and agencies involved. So bear in mind it is a left behind case. So I'm basically locked down while other people are actually playing games with my soul and liberty. So they're watching me, recording me, and they are cheating just through a breach of privacy. They only need one person to pin somebody down and your whole environment contaminated by their people. And then, yeah, that's how serious it is. You feel hopeless. The victims feel hopeless. You go through all the dangerous side of emotions. But it is a left behind case, and it's really easy. They've just taken turns basically over the years. Different secret societies have taken turns linking to the government and linking to my court cases. So to them, they've treated me like an object, like I have no human rights or bill of rights, and they are sabotaging, and yes, they are murdering in the moment too, meaning other people in your personal life, everyone is affected because of the intimacy, the gluing and the cloning and the switching. So on my personal property, because it is my case and it's about me, there's definite acts of terrorism that is credible, threats, attempted threats. I've been complaining about harassment, racial harassment and disharmony by different people. I know I'm not cursed, but the opposing allies, they've studied my personality and my soul under the camera while I was working for my employer, the Ministry of Justice. And then that they just started gluing me to different people while I was working with my employer. But we're dealing, spiritually speaking, living in craftiness. These are people who, it's called substitute subway system. So they're using other people to spy on me, to watch my every move. And basically they're studying my personality and everything about me while I was working, and this is where it started, and then eventually it turned into an illegal Commonwealth game. But however, it is acts of terrorism, and under the criminal law the penalty is life. So we're dealing with organized crime, a global game. So I have been under very serious acts of terrorism in my case, and all I could do is complain, but I am a left in a shut out case. This has given other secret societies to come out and make things difficult for me, or make their threats or indications of threats or emotional blackmail threats, threatening to hurt your family members or anything like that. So that is my personal experience. Hey, everything is intentional. Everything. When your privacy is gone, there's a very 100% chance that you are subject to intentional environment where other people are controlling and manipulating and are actually carrying out. So what it actually means in a criminal case, carrying out is meaning somebody is being used by another person to carry out their motives and intent, and they're either in your space, putting thoughts in your mind, or just trying to create something, or force a thought, or force something within your environment just by using other human beings. So that is what carrying out means. Carrying out to be a spy or an informant on behalf of those that oppose you or is personally attacking you. So basically, yes, they have all used me like a product. See this here, that they have actually coded me, and this is consistent with all the ads that I've been denouncing on my Facebook page, because they've coded me. They've even coded me on TV, on movies, and just even on the news, and even in the government's videos. I've had to denounce them because I knew that they were coding me. But this is the reason why I have not been able to advance, and whoever's behind it, their motive and intent is to keep me down or to stop me from finishing my court cases legally. But their motive and intent is we're dealing with lots of money. So we're talking about tax invasion. They've stolen not only my identity, and they have stolen money, tax invasion money, using my identity. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I am definitely a victim that is being used for a pecuniary advantage. Unfortunately, everything about the judgments, it is fabricated evidence. So now I can actually prove in the court of law that the court cases is a scandalous court. So my court case is definitely a scandalous court because I'm opposing the judgments made by the judges, and I can actually prove on the judgments that it is a conspiracy, which means they've committed perjury. So it is a very serious case. It's a life-threatening case. We're dealing with people with high superior, with power. We're talking about people who run the country, who are meant to be law-abiding, but obviously they haven't. So the system is definitely corrupt internally. So those who don't know what anime or inanimate is, this is like you can be the original, just walking around minding your own business, and other secret societies are ghosting or watching or spying, and they can actually just collect all your personal information and basically steal your energy, steal your life, steal anything that's worth monetary. And you can either end up like what I've struggled with, being exiled, or being in an environment where everybody in your environment is contaminated by secret societies, other people undermining or lying, or is being misled by somebody else, or they're not, or they've committed perjury, they've exchanged something in order to betray you. So yeah, it's a very inhumane situation. Legally, by law, we're dealing with the contempt of court, so there's a definite miscarriage of justice. So when I had my hearing with the New Zealand police, I'd say that probably out of all the court hearings was the most emotionally, it was very traumatizing, because I'm the victim of crimes and I'm actually representing myself. I'm reliving the incidents in court, basically going over the evidence, trying to have trying to get some justice, really. And so that court case, it was so emotional because I had to walk the judge through all the letters, which I did, and I reliving the evidence is very traumatizing. I've actually suffered the repercussions from redoing my court case over and over and over and over. So we're dealing with the contempt of court, we're dealing with the court and the judgments. The judge made the judgments in favour of the defendants, but in saying that, they've committed perjury, they've traded in influence, and I'm still contesting that. And but I have suffered the mental injury from what I'm going through, and I still suffer with specific pains just from redoing the court cases. But we are actually dealing with contempt of court, and my reason of belief, I didn't believe that the Crown, at that point in time at the hearing, she didn't even know what miscarriage of justice. When I heard their interpretation of a miscarriage of justice, they tried to deter it to something else. But a miscarriage of justice, according to law, and those that are old school like me will know what I'm saying is true, is to do with internal corruption, is to do with felonies, is to do with those internally who are breaking the law to cheat. A breach is a breach. It's how serious my case is, meaning the system's diverted and they're conspiring to win the case, which is perjury. But that is a miscarriage of justice when the system doesn't work and people aren't promoting or facilitate the administration of justice or uphold the rule of law, and integrity and honesty obviously is part of having a good system that's flourishing, that's beneficial and working for everyone. But it's also it's almost what's another way of explaining it? It's patriot, meaning I'm old school and other old school people are on the other side, so they're opposing me and I'm opposing them because of what they've done to me and because they've damaged my personal property. I haven't found anything they've done to me personally as a joke. That's not the kind of thing you just ignore and pretend to live it didn't happen. I feel obligated I just feel really obligated that I'm supposed to finish my court case publicly and legally, and so that is exactly what I'm doing, because we're dealing with my personal property and my existence, and just so many wrongdoings has happened, and which is not right. So basically, the crime scene has to start back with my employer. Okay, so the old system was such a serious criminal case like mine, where it has this home invasion. Everything is undone, and everything that has happened within my space all gets squashed. Meaning that doesn't matter. the real criminal barrister has to undo everything and find out who's behind the serial cybercrime. There's pure evidence that I keep getting attacked by a different society. It is a sadistic spirit. It's almost like there's somebody who doesn't want me to advance, wants to keep me isolated and single. In their sick mind, they see me as somebody different, whether it's for their own belief in that, but in regards to that, people's cults, like people's religion and beliefs, do not come in. It's law versus the offence. So emotions don't even come in when it comes to the law and the crimes that they've actually committed in acts. Okay, I'm a Christian. I believe I was attacked while I was working by my employer because I was a Christian as part of it. So everything has to be undone going back to when I was working for my employer. I was very just one of these people who went and did my work and went home, but unfortunately other people studied me and then they all joined forces to derail me from my job. But they were harassing me and racial disharmony. They just saw an advantage of taking and stealing of somebody. But I am a Christian, and this here, if you just one moment. Unfortunately, it does link back to the church I grew up in. That was Church of Christ New Zealand. So yes, they are part of my court case, but that is also the starting point of my spiritual walk, was because of my court cases, and it all links to my court cases, and people within my private life have actually connected with people in the government, meaning it's a breach of privacy. But people were actually studying my character and then animating me, pretending to be me. But it has been a global game. I'm the victim of what I'm going through, so I know exactly. It's been other different coalitions, meaning it's been other countries have attacked me secretly, or other millionaires and billionaires, example singers, using song lyrics, like a coding also to let, it's a global indirect psychological and mental abuse sort of a game. So spiritually speaking, it's a subway game where the opponent is using substitutes in my space, so they're just taking turns using them to be a spy or pretending to be me under the camera. So definitely the misuse of devices, and they're watching my every move and everything that I'm doing. Yes, they're hacking into online too. They shut down things, like some things are not a coincidence. And this is where the coding comes in, and then you find things all of a sudden happen. But there's a consistency of patterns that these things have happened, where I have felt I've been sabotaged intentionally as a way to be impeded, to prolong everything. So that's what I've been up against. They have used me for relationship scams. Unfortunately, because of the length of time, gross negligence has taken place. So there's a definite malfunction of the justice system. And now my case with the offences that have already committed gross negligence is manslaughter. I'm still alive, obviously, but there's sufficient evidence to charge the body corporates involved for gross negligence, because I've had to go public to try and get intervention. This is me currently, okay? So we're dealing with people that are racist and into stealing relationships. At this point in time, yes, my current relationship is real. We know each other personally. He's actually a victim too of where his identity has been stolen. In fact, his environment is more dangerous than mine, because other people are living his life. His property is actually being stolen. So we're both at risk of being murdered, because we are the original of our own life. And yes, to those that don't understand it, but to the social media platform, we're worth a lot of money. So I've had to denounce the coding, but unfortunately with a case like mine is an automatic criminal case. So when people are actually coding somebody and inciting, it is a crime. And the penalty is 10 years imprisonment, and it's a breach. So anything I do privately or Henry does privately and people are inciting, it's a crime. So those that are watching over us, to make sure we stay safe, and also with my court case, they can issue warrants. A judge can actually issue a warrant to find out who's behind the incite, and that it's they are actually disguising themselves and being imposters like a product. But that is a reason why I have not been able to advance in any way, because of what I'm going through. But but what they're actually doing in the criminal law, if you're a criminal lawyer, what I'm doing right now is exposing the tactics of the opposing allies. But a judge can actually find out who's behind the coding, because especially when a person's been violated like I have, used like a product, we're talking about a global system here, conspiring on one person, but you can prove home invasion has taken place, because it affects everyone in your immediate family. And yes, they are threatening to murder if I don't do what they want. Acts of terrorism definitely comes in place with what they've done to me, because of the mental injury that it has caused upon myself, and the abuse internally, emotionally, persecution, and just interference in everything. So in the beginning, the warfare was spiritual. For those who are a Christian, my faith is I am definitely a Christian. And in the beginning, yes, the warfare was spiritual. I didn't understand what I understand today until I've actually had to go through it. But these verses basically confirms my spiritual walk and how I saw things in the beginning. The warfare was spiritual, but then eventually it accumulated and it's no longer spiritual. It is actually natural, meaning somebody definitely has tried to kill me, and there's evidence to prove that. Also, it means the personal attacks is not spiritual anymore, that there is actually someone who wants to end my life, and doesn't want my court case to finish properly in the civil case, for obvious reasons, because I'm dealing with people internally, or people who've actually mastermind this game, or should be in prison, or need to be caught. So we're talking about reputation here, and just them going to prison for a very long time, because it's 20 years imprisonment. So bear in mind, these cameras in the buses, cameras in taxis, there's cameras everywhere, and the coding, meaning they always have the upper hand. Okay, the intention of this game is to eliminate the original for real. So that is what it clearly reveals. But the coding doesn't help, and it's a global game, which means it puts me at risk all the time. It puts anyone that I'm close to at risk all the time. It's a very serious situation. So we're dealing with gross miscarriage of justice case. So if you don't know what miscarriage of justice is, it's the malfunction of the government system. So everyone in government's in trouble involved. I've had to denounce those videos because they were coding me and denouncing me. So other countries in the government, they've all conspired against me secretly, or they've contaminated my my private life by so there's home invasion that can be proven, but it is a very serious wrongdoing system. They've perverted the course of justice, and all my applications are declined because I'm the to them I'm the enemy, and they because of the gross miscarriage of justice historically, they've used my personal property or my identity to make things difficult, and espionage. Yes, it is a love triangle. That's why I was denouncing all those relationship scams and all those women that represent a country. Okay, but they're secretly stealing. Okay, there's money involved, there's reputation involved, and it's all about, being superior and overpowering. So basically there's character assassination. Okay, unfortunately my employer is very, very at fault at what I'm going through because of what happened with what they did to me. They were recording me, and a hostile and conspiracy group of people were conspiring to assassinate my character and everything about me. But the evidence I can actually prove in the court of law are premeditated breaches, meaning they've recorded me in advance, and then they've linked themselves to people in the church. So it is a conspiracy. Yes, there's a lot of hit and run. So unfortunately, these are the women or the originals in my case. Okay, so they are secretly coding. They've stolen, or there are other conspirators. They've been used by other agencies. So they're working to steal somebody's personal property, or they are to them I'm their competitor. But the game is so cowardice. Okay, I'm just one single woman, and they've all just taken advantage of an innocent civilian. Okay, so I'm going to put out there the evidence that I see in social media. I can actually go over to my mum's place and I watch TV or anyone's place, and I can actually tell where I'm at or how, because they coded me on TV, on social media, so I know exactly, but they're coding to update everybody about what I'm doing, especially to do with my court case. But this here I've put on social media, and I thought I'll go over what I've actually explained, but this is exactly what they did to me. For example, I would be working with my employer, and then there's somebody, the original in my space, who's pretending to be me, but that the opposing ally would be this person here, meaning I will go over the evidence. Okay, and I'm dealing with religious cults and culture. These people come out when I'm by myself. So it's like an older generation of people who are very people on their own, like with their own beliefs, as far as spiritual things are concerned. In my case, it's to do with my relationships with any man or whatever it is, but they do come out when I'm by myself, and it's all part of the game. And it's body corporate, definitely. Okay, so that aeroplane, they're talking about her. She has been my longest manager from the civil jurisdiction, and then I left there to go down to the criminal because we had a working relationship issue. So basically what I'm trying to say is this game involves when someone complains about a manager, instead of them intervening and finding a solution, they sided. Instead, all the staff ended up siding with this person in order to help her to save her job. But that is what they're actually doing. And then they globally do the inciting. But Lou is this person here. She's known by two names, but she is the longest person that has been my manager while I was working for the Ministry of Justice. The alliances was building up to help save her job secretly. Unfortunately, I'm telling you, that's exactly what the relationship scams and everything came in. Okay, so this picture here, I've put the picture up here. This here is Mark Devereaux. He is my manager. When I first got hired with the Department of Courts, I didn't cheat because I know people have dug up my everything about me because they want to find criminal. They want to find something criminally to have on me. And also that's why people are digging up people's past. That's a breach of privacy. But this guy here, his name is Mark Devereaux, and he is actually the manager at the time when I got hired as a court deputy registrar in jury trials deposition. That's where my experience come from. I used to manage murder cases, indictable cases it's called. They're the high profile cases, sexual violations. So I do know my stuff, I do know my law, and I do know how to read and interpret the laws as what they actually really mean in plain English. And so all these people here were people I worked with in the civil jurisdiction. But this here is Mark Devereaux. This is Nancy. But unfortunately, I don't believe they realized the enormity of what I was going through. But eventually, everyone turned on me. That's what happened during working hours. No one did anything. What could I do? But they were hacking into my laptop or hacking into my what I was doing at work. It was inhumane. Words can't describe. And then once your privacy's gone while you're working under the watchful eyes of the technology at work, they only need just one bad person to contaminate everything. And that's exactly what happened. I've been trapped in a sadistic spiritually wise, other cultures saw the advantage of taking over someone's personal space, and that's what happened to me. This here is me. This is actually the real me here. So what we're dealing with here are the opponents or my conspirators. They've assassinated my character, and they've tried to create evidence that I'm actually mentally impaired, like I'm unstable, or I have real serious mental illness. The thing that they've done to me is they've not only just abused and used me, but then they block me, and then I'm put up with the harassment, basically using members of the public. They're using gangs. The gangs are following me. But somebody in government, I have a reasoned belief, is paying them or is working for them. So, the gangs shouldn't be doing that, but they are. They've done that to me historically. In fact, I know who's behind some of these coding. It is definitely gangs, but it is linked to people in hierarchy. Okay, so they invaded my privacy while I was working for the government. They dug up my past, and then they studied everything about me, and that's why home invasion is dangerous, and they're still threatening to kill in the moment, or kill people within your immediate place. This is why trafficking in persons case, internal corruption, is 20 years imprisonment. Okay, I will go over this video clip. This female here, she's been following me since I was working for my employer, but she is linked to the extremist Māoris. Okay, I know there are quite a lot of extremist Māoris linked to what I'm going through, and I know not everyone are into what these extremists are doing, but I'm just explaining after the fact of their tactics. So it's very likely I've been glued to this person. So what they're doing is they're gluing me to somebody different, and then pretending to be me, but they're actually secretly stealing on the surface. Like some of the people in my space are actually really not well people. So that is what these some of the government officials are doing secretly, and this is what they've done to me. This is what they're actually doing. So after, when there's been a contaminated in an individual's life, they have the gangs or the people that are representing the alliance in your space. So those people are actually using the gangs as part of the game. Going back to the Jacinda Ardern and John Key governments, that is what they did to me. They had linked themselves and turned my life into a game where the gangs are all involved. So basically it's undoing everything and finding out who has benefited from the game and who are the actual thieves, who are the actual people who are stealing tax invasion. So Unison Dance Crew has to be undone because that was definitely linked into it. Then the relationship setups, they're all setups by the criminal alliance. I hope you're getting the picture. So it's actually easy for me to prove. Henry has actually been under the same situation. This here is a recent photo of him when we were going out, like since we've been together. We're very close. We've been going out over 2.5 years. So people want to break the relationship up. We've got all these conspirators on social media. I mean, it may seem harmless, but it's actually a conspiracy, okay? That is what I believe what the government needs to look at. They need to do something about it. A criminal lawyer and judge can see what I'm seeing or what I'm saying. But on this particular day, he's been trying, he got derailed, he lost his job, or just different things have happened in his job. And somebody tried to murder him under the when he was having an operation on his chest. So a female tried to poison him. He's okay now, everyone. But this photo here, he went to, because he's trying to go forward. He hasn't been able to go forward because his property is stolen. So what I'm trying to say is, when somebody has stolen your identity, you can't have a normal life because you are a threat to them. Because the first thing, obviously, I would do when is what I'm doing is contest it in the legal system. So that's exactly what I'm dealing with. I'm dealing and controlled by coalitions, agents, hosts, and extremists. So him and I are both the original, and this is what you're up against. Everyone is up against if you're targeted and you're the original. But we're dealing about a global conspiracy game. Okay, for the victim, it is like the Hunger Games. Okay, there's no laws don't apply. It's even more dangerous because if it's a global public game, they're using gangs, and I'm telling you, they will murder you if they get the chance. The threats are real. They're not a joke. The coding and the threats are real. So Henry went to try to apply for an application. Obviously, because I was denouncing those relationship scam. We're talking about internal corruption here. He got arrested by the police. That they used the coding method to code and let the public know if you see this person. So that's what they're doing to me. And you can even hear it on their ads that they put on social media. It's all in their wording and their sarcastic comments. So it's a real life global conspiracy game. Okay, so basically I'm dealing with bloodthirsty people, man. They're addicted to the game. Okay, so even if I don't make it, they will just glue themselves to another person. So the whole idea is why I feel is my place to do what I'm doing is to help other people, warn other people about the system and not to play games. I'm a straightforward person, Okay, I'm not I'm a no nonsense sort of a personality, obviously because of my background, and my mind is more on the criminal side of how I see things, and that is how I see the acts of what has been happening to me as a criminal act. Okay, so like I said, the evidence starts from when I was working for my employer. Okay, how they derailed me out of my job was totally unfair. Okay, this person here, because I've actually pressed criminal charges against them already. Okay, but at the moment I'm dealing with IPCA and New Zealand police case. But this person here, he worked for City Med. He's no longer there, but it doesn't matter if he's no longer there. If he's alive, he can still be made accountable of what happened. So what happens in a case like mine, because it's historical, all the laws that existed back in those years are applicable, because the case came from that time of the when it happened. So at the time that when I first did my cases against the Ministry of Health, which was 4th of July 2016, I used all those laws. All those laws come active. They're all alive in my case, and they stay alive in my case until I am satisfied with the outcome. Obviously, I'm out to have those judgments turned, and that is what I'm looking at. But unfortunately, because it is a criminal case, everything about me gets turned over. Any dealings, anything to do with dealing with legally, everything gets wiped out because of the seriousness of it. Like, meaning I took my employer to court in regards to the unfair dismissal, but this person here, he was hired by my employer, and he wrote this is his report here, and this is why I've now, it's actually a criminal case against this person. In fact, it shouldn't even have gone as long as it has. But he wrote a report about my mental health without even meeting me. I didn't even know what this doctor looked like. But in saying that, just this whole freedom of doctors being able to do what they're doing, it's illegal what they're doing. Okay, because what they're doing, one is because they haven't, the way they're doing it is wrong, and they're writing reports without even having a one-on-one consultation with the individual. But this here is his report on me, and I've contested this. That's why I sued him. And according to the law, each of my cases against the body corporate is $10 million according to the laws, because of what they've done to me. So he wrote this report, and what I have found, because I had a very difficult background and they've been digging up my past, they are wanting to create a case against me using my past, because I've had an on and off broken relationship with my ex-husband, and a dysfunctional relationship in all aspect, really. But that is not my fault. I made the right decisions at that point of time, but this is what they're trying to build a case against me, to show that I'm mentally unstable or mentally impaired in the process of a cover-up, and to steal my work and anything monetary, and a cover-up of other people who should be in prison, of doing what they're doing to me. So basically I'm just exposing what they're doing to me is illegal. But this here's the report. They're recording people, and then they think they've got it. They've got me because of their recording, and they have contaminated my environment historically. But this is what they're doing with their pet project, I call it, because that's how they've treated me. They've treated me like a dog. The abuse is really, really, really bad. The psychological and mental abuse, and it's persecution of an individual, and basically the assassin of someone's character and private life. The relationship scam, they're using the misuse of devices to put the men off me, or that's what they're actually doing. Okay, but I'll just scroll it through this report. But what I'm describing to you from a criminal mind, a criminal legal mind, that see, they put here post-traumatic stress disorder. Those that know me personally, when I was working for my environment, there was nothing unstable about me on the surface. I basically just did my job and then left and went home. But what this game is doing, they're trying to assassinate an innocent person's character and destroy all their good work, or everything good about them, by what they have written on their judgments, and what they're doing to me secretly on the surface. Okay. So they've put in here common PSD symptoms. Yes, I can acknowledge I've been through a lot. I feel like I have been through hell and back, but all in all, I've overcome all these issues. But the system that I'm going through, they keep making me repeating. It's quite obvious that someone doesn't want me to advance spiritually or advance financially. They want to keep me down and destroyed. At the same time, they're defaming my character, and then they're writing unlawful judgments, which I can actually prove that some of them, unfortunately, links to basically it links to everything what I'm going through, what they're actually writing. But the things that I've said to them, I said objects left out to indicate death threats, knives, rubbish bags, even boxes, rubber bands, bobby pins, stuff like that. I'm describing my environment. So in a legal mind, in the criminal aspects of things, I'm describing acts of tourism happening while I was working for my employer. Okay, because no one should be working in that kind of environment. I was talking about people stalking me, and doing it like what I've actually described is the truth, and because they are the truth, instead of investigating, the opposing allies has turned it around, trying to make out that I'm mentally unstable or I'm mentally impaired, and that I'm just making everything up. Okay, but I'm telling you, it's not true. Okay, so the other letter I wanted to show you is, just give me a sec, I'll get to it. Okay, sorry guys. Let's make sure this is still going. Okay, better hurry up. So, unfortunately, the people at fault is the Ministry of Justice. Okay, I got terminated from my job. PSA. That's why I'm suing PSA. But it is a criminal case, so even if I don't make a criminal barrister can easily take over and prosecute all of them if I don't make it. So this here is from PSA. They terminated me under medical incapacity. Okay. So they basically terminated me medically with the intention of me not ever getting another job again. So they've assassinated my character already. And also it's a cover-up because I've stolen tax invasion. This when I say tax invasion, I'm talking about my identity was stolen, and then they stole unison dance crew that was worth a lot of money and used my name for it. That is what they did. That's why my case is so serious, because it involves tax funding and tax invasion money, but they've damaged my reputation in the process, so I can't fight back. But they weren't counting on me being intelligent and fighting back, because I don't feel in my heart I should give up. In New Zealand, we are entitled to represent ourselves because it's our personal property. So I will continue this case against PSA, but that is where the coding is coming from. We're talking about a big, massive court case going on here, and a big, massive alliance of people who doesn't want this to happen in court. However, I can confirm it's definitely like a Jack of Ripper serial cybercrime. Okay, it's quite serious because it started from when I was working, and now it's also global, and it also has to do with relationship scams, meaning all the public welfare is at stake, and even those who work for the government, because I definitely minded my own business. A lot of people have witnessed my case. The other thing I have a real concern about is that I'm representing myself. I'm writing all my documents. I'm sending them my personal identity online, because it's the only kind of a communication that is the safest at this point of time. And in some aspect, that's what they expect. They expect everything to be done online. No one-on-one consultation or anything, and then you go to the counter and they know it's you, and you're lucky if they're going to be helping you and telling you the truth. But it is organized crime. That is my personal experience. They can deter you down the wrong direction, mislead, misguide. It's really easy to steal, and the same way they'll steal is the same way they will murder people. So a criminal case is definitely formulated and established without a shadow of doubt. I will update you guys with my cases in the near future, because it is a public interest case. But I've got a good feeling, and I will, God willing, praying hard out, and thank you for everyone that is praying for me. It's working, that all this will be over for me soon.